creatures as well as players of this campaign have awoken in an alternate reality of 5e in an unknown land isolated by dangerous forests, deep oceans, and large mountains. The mountains of the north are inhabited by the hostile North Fairy congregation, and the forests are home to the supposedly cursed union of southern fairies found deep underground. The West Village Harbor is a welcoming rustic entrance to the city, while the East Harbor of this dense city integrates the societal structure with that of merfolk. The lands surrounding the area introduce creatures such as fae or beastmen. Redbone City is a long-developed civilization that embraces strict class roles but treats all intelligent species equally, promotes peace, and reserves basic rights for all citizens regardless of housing districts and class. Low-class citizens are given many proper opportunities for advancement and, in some cases, even receive financial aid from the city council. The middle-class groups manage many parts of the council but mostly deal with legislation and generally benefit the total population in all cases. Members of the high class in Redbone City are the operators of a basic economy and provide the various services found within their districts. The city contains buildings dedicated to almost any industry one can think of: airports, bars, fishing or shipping docks, barbers, fairgrounds, schools, police stations, weaponsmiths, clothing stores, pet shops, hospitals, brothels, restaurants, inns, transitional housing, and fight clubs. The average power level of the inhabitants of Redbone is relatively low, 1 to 10, but ever since the industrialization of CE 110, civilization established, when the Redbone City Mining Association discovered, then excavated a limited supply of gold under the city totaling around 142,892 gold coins. Some gifted individuals of this region have begun to obtain power from unusual sources, or are granted abilities beyond a normal humanoid and can even reach godlike platitudes of strength. Midwinter of CE 389, a nauseating ring followed by an explosion rocked the city to its foundation and introduced hundreds of interdimensional immigrants falling from a multicolored, spherical portal high up in the sky. From this opening came demons, aberrations, abominations, fiends, celestials, supernatural beings, and unknowable creatures of all kinds, replicated from their native dimensions into this one. Unknowingly, Redbone would become home to many undesired criminals and monsters disguised as terrestrial beings. Objects of power and forces beyond comprehension found their way to hosts and followers throughout the area and even found homes within the community. Soul contracts have been smuggled into the population through an underground crime ring and have been increasingly used to bind or control otherworldly creatures that possess unique qualities not found in the known world. Altered contracts are valid, but must strictly consist of agreement/assignment, then benefit/payment, signed by both parties in blood. Among the most powerful of these invaders is Desmond, a black market dealer, con artist, thief, and slave trader from Waterdeep, hell-bent on ruling the city or turning it into a criminal empire. When the portal opened above the city, only one person was fortunate enough to find more than a single object of power. Instead, Desmond was granted 3 impossibly bright glowing jewels with distinct colors and abilities. Shortly after his arrival and the multiversal crisis, The criminal mastermind commissioned a master of the mystical arts as well as a necromancer adept in the dark forces to construct a grand facility that houses a trafficking operation specializing in bloodshed and domination, unapologetically called the Arena Fights of Redbone Coliseum. The basement, B1, consists of the housing units of many slaves, contract fighters, and criminal scum, plus a small bar as well as the workshop of local celebrity blacksmith, Harris. The base, or first floor, F1, is the service sector of the Coliseum and contains a large, full bar, a high-quality restaurant, forge, shop, an indoor stage room, and one of the entrances to the common arena stands. Upstairs, the second floor, F2, contains mid-tier seating where patrons can purchase and experience more features of the Coliseum, and on the third floor, F3, there are executive, ownable suites with box seats, where the rich gather for luxurious parties accompanied by intoxicating pleasures. Despite directly impacting the population and providing a popular, gruesome attraction, the council sees the Coliseum as an evil that must eventually be discontinued. Due to the nature of his business, Desmond promptly pays off members of the council, donates money to social services, and provides housing for soldiers as well as employees while running extremely lucrative underworld deals. Weeks after the premiere of the arena, Desmond and his associates were alerted by their security forces of a homeless creature sleeping in the trash of the Coliseum. The Coliseum Lord seized this opportunity to enslave a being that would come to be his star. Because of this being's overwhelming power, custom-made limiters are created and placed on the ankles of unruly beings enslaved to the Redbone Coliseum. By this time, many victims, citizen or otherwise, have been killed or repurposed for the various wooden guards that prowl the building. Since the introduction of the newest celebrities of Redbone City, countless warriors have flocked to fight in the arena, seeking fame and glory, but often meeting their end. Other, less fortunate participants are found and enslaved to fight against their will or traded into exploitation. Staff members of this establishment are well compensated but experience many of the deplorable functions of the Coliseum subfloor. The very first option each player is given by Desmond will be to fight in an ongoing arena encounter or schedule one for the next day or two. Players willingly starting as sex slaves will not be granted that option and will instead need to find a customer to buy your time or freedom. Outside of unconventional beginnings, players can be subjected to cruel or unusual punishment in the depths of the Redbone Coliseum. Consequences for your actions or inaction will be inevitable.